On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what go on. A blessed and wonderful Friday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. No, my peeps, you don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Jan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we're going in Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps, in the morning here to the name Friday, the day when Mr. Smile pan some of the ones and ones them pocket. So whilst you're out there traversing these streets from Moran Point to Negril Point, safe travel, pan the gravel. And as always, my peeps, continuously look out on the corner yai Kazwa, the old dirty corner boy them, always out there. Alerts, yeah man. So we're going to kick it off in the morning here with an update. An update coming out of the troubled, war-torn, crime-riddled Nannyville community, where the security forces had an alleged confrontation with this criminal element here, presently on your screen, identified as Nicardo Lewis, but more popularly known in the criminal underworld as Papi. Now, Papi was taken out by the security forces about 3 days ago. Now we have heard a voice note circling around on social media. And On The Spot News Media will most definitely be playing that voice clip for you. Because the criminal element Papi, his mother came out and stated that he is some sort of angel. The only thing that was missing is his white wings and his halo over his head. But Papi was indeed a reputed gang member in the Shanty gang based in Nannyville. Yeah man. Now we're going to play the voice notes that shows that Papi has been in and out of police custody over the past couple of days before he met his demise, where he was actually warned by the police to stay out of trouble. Now, there has been an internal gang war within the ranks of the Shanty gang. Now, Papi was one of those that did not side with the Don for the Shanty gang known as Isha. So, Papi and Isha had an internal feud going on among other gang members in that particular gang. So this particular voice clip will give a lot of information, much needed information might I add. Now listen.
Most smart man check him about man say, bro, I keep him for killing it. I go to me have my daughter in there. Because 6 of them are the morning. I said, bad man, I don't know about nothing, you know. I don't know about nothing. I don't know about nothing. But I don't know about nothing. So yeah, we'll free them, I'll come and them before. But one thing, you know, I can't stop me from there, you know. Police, how much police they must send. And this and that, they must let me, you know. You see me? So they can't stop me if I'm in a busy doing nothing with them already. Nobody can stop me from here. Just know some day I go and ease myself till the one when I lead the squad, when they let me go back in the morning and say, yo, let's stay out of trouble with me, you see me? Let's take care of yourself and stay out of trouble with me. Because I want to lead the squad. You see me? Down, bring me back. And say, let's stay out of trouble and take care of yourself. I say, alright, my boss. Because the man them say, I'm good, bro. Till the man, alright, till all one of them, I touch all my heart and say, oh, shut him right, I say. I feel more, I feel my heart about him, I touch it. I say, oh, man, shut him right, about him, I feel my heart to see if that beat, you know, like he beat like a killed or something. She said no one be until one time I said, General, I'm so glad to own the dog rights to me attack. The dog rights actually great. So where's so much? You see me? Till the man them see all a mask in my bag.
Till the man them see all a mask in him bag. Now he was making reference to the police, of course. Now the streets I say, not on the spot news media saying, but residents within Nannyville is stating that Isha run a piece of food and that's why the police them come nyam film food and broke the plate. Now that is what Nannyville residents are stating. Now the next thing that we are going to talk about, my peeps, is in relation to the criminal element known as ShabDon. Yeah, man. Now, in court case did for start, his trial was supposed to start, but he never turned up at court, so them have to put it off until the 3rd of November. Now it is stated that he was transported from the Horizon Remand Center in Kingston to the Betheltown Police lockup in Westmoreland and was supposed to be transported to St. James to answer to the triple murder, knockings and clappings charge. Now, Shabdan and his criminal counterpart, we are talking about Tajay Clark, aka FatHead, were supposed to be before the courts on Tuesday. But for some reason, there was some sort of communication breakdown. Now, Linval Thompson, aka Shabdan, and his co-defendant, Tajay Clark, aka FatHead, is now scheduled to return to court on the 3rd of November. Now, one may wonder, so what did go on again with Shabdan and FatHead? Why them end up in a jail and dead for so long? So Shabdan and FatHead, who are both in custody, are charged in relation to the May 25, 2022 fatal knockings and clappings of 24-year-old at the time, Chamario Calvin, otherwise known as Chip God, 27-year-old Chadwell Fraser, otherwise known as Bambrain, and 26-year-old at the time, Tony and Reed, aka Two Fly. All three was gunned down in a hail of bullets during a drive-by knockings and clappings at the birthday party of Two Fly's boyfriend, we are talking about J-Man. The attack took place in the Rose Heights community in St. James. Yeah, man. So according to reports, several persons were attending the birthday party along Mall Road in Rose Heights when men alighted from a motor vehicle and opened gunfire at the patrons before escaping. Now Calvin, Fraser and Two Fly, who all suffered bullet wounds, were subsequently pronounced you know what at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Two other persons were also wounded in that incident. Now, Shabdan and FatHead were caught by the cops and charges laid against them for the triple fatal knockings and clappings in Rose Heights. Yeah, man. So anyway, make we continue. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of the St. Andrew North Police Division, where the St. Andrew North Police are presently on high alert after the fatal knockings and clappings of this criminal element. Now, the police stated that the knockings and clappings go on a Park Lane involving a criminal element in the community. Now, a threat was reportedly issued by gangsters in the area. The police stated that the criminal element presently on your screen, identified as 31-year-old Fernando Spence, otherwise called Chemo, was taken out during an alleged confrontation. It is reported that sometime around 5 a.m., a team carried out an operation in the Park Lane area and the premises occupied by Spence was targeted. The police stated that he pointed a firearm at the team of police, which took evasive action and opened gunfire, hitting him. It is stated that the criminal element was pronounced you-know-what at the hospital. A firearm and ammunition was also taken from him, but the mother of the now deceased criminal element is questioning the actions of the police. She stated that her son was charged with an offense and was reporting to the Half-Tree police station on a regular. Now we're going to hear from the mother as she weighs in on the fatality of her son. Now listen.
Police hold him and crime at Half-Tree lock up and him a report 3 days a week up there. And the police them know him. Yesterday we did dispute with him and his cousin. They go up there and him up there and them let him go and come kill him this morning. Why them do that? And them him go in to them yesterday. Every time him call, him go in, they make him go in. Always try to pick up on the right side with the police then. Them kill him already. Why put gun on him? Just start the truth. Him has some of the child like how them has some of the child.
Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of the St. Anna Police Division. I made a report some days ago about a double fatal knockings and clappings are going in a St. Ann, but we never really get the identity of the two men. Now the victims of the St. Ann double fatality has been identified by the police. So the St. Ann detectives have positively ID'd the men whose bodies were found with bullet wounds in a gully along Dunsville Main Road in Ocherius on Sunday. Both men are said to be from the Tank Lane community in Orokobesa, St. Mary. They have since been identified as 43-year-old Andre Allen, otherwise known as Killer, said to be a painter, and the other man has since been identified as Ajomo Folks. No suspects have been identified by the police in relation with that double fatal knockings and clappings. Now reports reaching on the Spot News media would suggest that sometime around 11 p.m. on Saturday, explosions were heard in the Dunsville area, but residents made no alarm. So on Sunday morning, a resident alerted the police to the bodies in the gully. Several pen shells were also recovered from that brutal and bloody scene. Boy, may I tell you, my peeps, the knockings and clappings continues. Now, in this morning's fresh set of stories, a teenager has been arrested after admitting that she made a falsified report of a hold on and take against a man. Now, she admitted that a lie she had tell upon the man. And the incident that she told a lie took place about 3 years ago. So now she's presently behind bars on suspicion of creating public mischief. Now the matter came up before Justice Dale Palmer in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Thursday. It is stated that the 16-year-old complainant took the witness stand and she declared that she had no interest in the matter. She then stated that she reported the matter because she loved the man and he did not return the sentiment. Can you imagine, my peeps? Justice Palmer then freed the accused and inquired of the Crown Counsel whether there was an interest in pursuing the case against the complainant. The teenager was then taken into custody. The complainant had alleged that she was assaulted, hold on and take type away by the accused in 2022. So a probe was done by the police, which resulted in 10 charges, which includes having hold on and take type of behavior with a person under 16, grooming of a person under a certain age, and also pitney porn. All of that was brought against the accused man. Now, the accused made numerous court appearances and maintained his innocence throughout. He was represented by attorney at law Sheldon Campbell and Earl Hamilton. Now, you see how some of them girl pitney are wicked. Whole heap of man they are prison for hold on and take, we literally never commit the act, But to how the law is crafted, it is easier for you to get off a fatal knockings and clappings charge than a hold on and take charge. Now, the offense against the Persons Act need to also craft in certain things to protect persons against or from persons like that female. She clearly told the judge say she love him and the man nah love her back. Make she tell the lie upon him. Boy, may I tell you my peeps. The thing rough, and from 2022, can you imagine the amount of things that you they got through? Jaja God. Now the next thing that we are going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of the Clarendon Police Division, where a security guard was fatally taken out in a hail of bullets during a targeted attack on him at the Millennium Mall near Maypen in Clarendon. It took place Wednesday evening. Now, the security guard in question has since been identified as this man presently on your screen, 55-year-old Anthony Jones, otherwise known as Cyprus, said to be of a Canaanite address in the parish of Clarendon. He was employed to the Border Patrol Security Company. Now, the police stated that Anthony Jones was approached by a lone criminal element in the vicinity of Select Groceries, who opened gunfire, hitting him in the head and the upper body. The gunman then escaped in a waiting motor car, which was headed in the direction of Hayes. Now, it is stated that Anthony Jones was pronounced you-know-what at the hospital. Now, on the spot, news media was also reliably informed that this has been the third attempt at his life in the past few years, and on each occasion, he sustained some kind of wounds. Now, it is also widely stated that the security guard mixed up himself in some bangarang with some nakis and clappis. Now, it is also stated that a man identified as Shaka is said to be behind his fatal knockings and clappings. Now, on the spot, news media will most definitely be looking deeper into this one and to see if Shaka is really involved in the fatal knockings and clappings of the security officer, and also why. So, Shaka, if you hear this, reach out to On The Spot News Media and make us see exactly what go on. Yeah, man. Now, the next thing that we are going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of the Manchester Police Division, where Porus business operators want a review of the ongoing curfew situation in that particular community. Now, the business operators in Porus, Manchester, are pleading to the police to review a curfew in force in the community since last weekend. The measure took effect on Sunday, September 7th. For an initial 48-hour period under the measure, businesses have to close their doors by 6 p.m. Now, we are going to hear from an operator of Just Chicken and Things in Porus, that's Wayne Miller, who is asking the police to give them 3 more hours. Now, whilst I understand, and I'm just speaking from my point of view and from what I've seen over the past year or so, most of Manchester's fatal knockings and clappings, including the most recent of the 61-year-old man, has been taking place inside of business establishments, shops and bars, to be more specific. So whilst on the spot news media understand the plight of the business operators also have to understand the measures put in place by the police, because the police duty is different from what the business personnel want. The police don't want any fatal knockings and clappings to go on, but the business operators need some money in their pockets. Now, if I had to choose one, I would have to choose no fatal knockings and clappings. So it is now the business operators and the community at large to work with the police to prevent these fatal knockings and clappings from happening. Then you will definitely see a lift of curfews in your communities, which undoubtedly is affecting your businesses. But anyway, we're going to hear from the small business owner as he weighs in on how the curfew situation is affecting his business. Now listen.
6 o'clock in the evening, that's the time when, people coming from work, I would grab something to eat and stuff like that. So it have a lot of impact on the business as far as the curfew going and stuff like that. If they could give us up till like 9 o'clock, maybe just patrol the street for the next 3 hours instead of 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, yeah, that would be reasonable, that would get along, because people coming from work, they trying to grab something. By the time they come from work, the town locked down, taxi, everything like that. That's what I'm saying.
They need to come and communicate with the community so people can understand.
Do you think that they should have a committee meeting?
Of course. And you can't just force on things from people so we don't know formal information, nothing at all. It can't work.
Then there was a day of boundaries, and then when we have people look for party, they come and say,
them say the boundaries are very much in Clarendon and Redberry to ban it. But yet still them are locked up everywhere they up there, so. And up there, so. Supermarket, everything, bar, shop, everything. Main Street, Porus, Battersea, Coffee Grove, Old Porus, Spring Grove, Berrydale. Them are locked down all the place, them. And those places are not in it, so they're under the curfew. The curfew is only for up that side.
Now we're going to hear from the councillor for the Porus division, that's Claudia Morant Baker. Then we're going to hear from the Nanville mayor, that's Donovan Mitchell. Then we'll be hearing from the sub-officer in charge of the Manchester Community and Safety Security Branch, Inspector Bethlyn Lloyd, as they all weigh in on the curfew situation in Porus, Manchester. Now listen.
I just got a message when I sit in here, read the curfew, and I listen to the different stakeholders. I always say, as a political directorate, councillor, who is the head of their respective divisions, voted and selected by the people to represent them, communicate. The police and I have a very good relationship in Porus. When I heard that there is curfew in Porus, I'm the head of the division, I was suspecting it. However, I'm expecting that communication to flow among us, because we have that kind of relationship. And people keep asking me, the political directorate, and I'm sure my colleague Mario Mitchell can attest to that. They're asking him, is curfew on in Porus? Which are the days for curfew? What is the time for curfew? So we'd like that communication to flow among us.
My division, the Royal Flat Division, goes as far as to Trinity, which is a part of the police district of Porus. And if I wasn't who I am, I'd probably get caught up in the whole curfew thing, because I didn't know that there was a curfew in the area. It could have been suspected, but I didn't know, and I think the police owes us at least, you can send it out to the media and whatever it is, but to even send a WhatsApp, we're on WhatsApp, the police knows our WhatsApp numbers, SDC is there, they have citizens association and groups within the thing, to send a message to them so at least all persons involved would know that something is happening.
The concerns regarding the communication, regarding the curfews that is currently on in the Porus space. Yes, there were 2 murders, and from what is happening and from information coming to the police, these murders are as a result of the incidents that were occurring in the latter part of last year. So the measures have been put in place for now. So until the situation is properly under control, I believe the curfew will still be on, but I will ensure that I report to the superintendent that the relevant communications be made so that persons can be properly informed.
Now the last thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is still in the Manchester Police Division, where the Manchester Police have charged 2 men in connection with Monday's seizure of an illegal gun and ammunition on the Battersea Main Road. Now, the criminal elements have since been identified as 27-year-old Siobhan Bailey, said to be a security guard of Wildcare District in St. Ann, and 27-year-old Sean Reid of Alliston District in Clarendon. Now, both men have been charged with possession of prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Now, reports reaching on the Spot News media would suggest that sometime after 12 in the afternoon, Bailey and Reid were aboard a motor vehicle that was signaled to stop by the police. The driver complied. It is reported that the police approached and the passenger dropped a bag on the floor where he was seated. The bag was retrieved and the police found it to contain one 9mm pistol with a magazine affixed containing 13 rounds of ammunition. Bailey and Reid was taken into custody in relation to the find. They were formally charged on Tuesday after being questioned. Boy, may I tell you, my peeps, the knockings and clappings continues. Now anyway, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.